Hello. I wanted to go ahead and give you guys some information about the school improvement roles and responsibilities. It's my goal to try to explain and clarify the responsibility of not just the school improvement plan team, myself, the committee chair members, but everyone as a whole, and how our committees relate to the school improvement plan and the work of the committees actually drive the completion of our goals of the school improvement plan. So real quick, in this slide here, you can see that the process manager, that would be myself. My job would be to facilitate the development, implementation, and monitoring of the plan, facilitate the ongoing data analysis and collection of data, and also communicate the data and the findings. The indicator objective owners, those are our committee chairs, and their role would be to monitor the implementation and effectiveness of that indicator or objective, which those are our key indicators that each committee is over, to monitor the ongoing work of the actions that support the indicators, and then to participate in the quarterly review. Then we do have an opportunity for some of the members of our committees to actually be action leaders. And these would be the people that take on maybe one of the action steps and help facilitate and guide the progress of collecting the data and the implementation. And then finally, the team gets together and just kind of make sure everything is being implemented. So all of this should work together so that we can conduct a quarterly review, which we need to have every quarter. Our quarterly review will be in December. We don't really have that much data to analyze because we've not been collecting data as of yet, really, in terms of each of our indicators. But we do have some actions that we have completed or that we have started that we will be able to look at and review. So the task at hand for this committee meeting would be to go through and collect all of the evidence that we would be able to then bring forth to the quarterly review. During the quarterly review, we will look at all of the evidence that was brought from each of the committees over each of the indicators. So you see this graphic shows some examples of what we can use to measure effectiveness, our action steps, the implementation. Pretty much there's not anything that you can use to measure it except for just evidence that it's been done. Agendas, for example, from the instructional rounds that we did, that type of thing. So I'm going to pause again. Okay, so there's two things that I would like for your committees to do today. The first, and you can do them in whichever order you want, but the first thing is to provide some data for our quarterly review. Remember that our goal for Rolesville Elementary is that by June 2019, Rolesville Elementary will increase overall proficiency to 64% as measured by NCEOG, exceed growth as measured by EVOS data, and make progress towards subgroups' yearly targets. So this one is for the Family Engagement Committee. So, for example, but for whatever committee, for this protocol, you need to look at the strengths and the areas of concern of what your committee has been doing. And basically in the strengths column, I just want some summary bullet points of what has been accomplished so far, what has been the work of your committee so far. Then in this areas of concern, what needs improvement? Obviously most of that's going to be data collection, decision of action steps, whatever it is that you might think. The rest of the protocol is really once we have data to analyze. So we don't really have that much data, but typically what we would do is look at the implementation and effectiveness data. And then we would suggest next steps. So that's down here at the bottom. So what I would prefer is if your committee, once you complete this by filling out the summary and what needs improvement, you can talk about what some of your next steps would be, and that's going to drive your work moving forward. The other item that I would like for you guys to work on is the mapping monitoring document. So in this document, I have in this document, I have recorded all of the action steps over here on the left-hand side. And I'd like for your team, your committee, to come up with how we will monitor that. What we will use to monitor the implementation of this action step and how we will monitor the effectiveness. Whether that be a form, a survey, a walkthrough, your committee can, create these things, and you would be the ones to actually collect the data for monitoring. My suggestion would be to focus on the action steps that we are actually currently working on, because remember, these action steps are the ideal for end of 2020, and perhaps work on those for this committee meeting, as well as to provide information for the quarterly review. From here on out, your committee is basically going to work on implementing these action steps. So the work will kind of become yours. I won't be giving you the agendas anymore, and you will be able to move the work of the plan forward. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.